Hi guys, it's Peggy with I'mLosingItToday.com, and we are in the kitchen of Angie Frame, and she has a local business here. It is called Grandma Zook's, and I'll make sure I say that right.
It's Zook's.
Zook's. It's Grandma Zook's bakery and produce, and she has it right here on her property. And I wanted to just interview Angie today and just give us some reasons. Like, I know it's a seasonal business, correct?
Yeah.
And what exactly does seasonal mean?
Well, seasonal to us means that living here in Pennsylvania, we have the joy of seasons changing. Mm-hmm. And as the seasons change, so does the produce and the plants that people use and decorate with and the foods that we eat. So seasonal to us means that in the spring, when you've got Easter, you've got Mayflowers, and you've got certain baked goods that you think of at Easter. Mm-hmm. You know, what do you guys do for Easter for a baked good?
Well, cinnamon rolls,
hot cross buns,
all that good stuff.
Right. So that's to me, that's a seasonal. Hot cross buns are definitely like Easter. Right. And then come into the summer, you've got strawberries, local Lancaster County strawberries. So then we've got strawberry shortcake. We do strawberry crepes, and we do ice cream with strawberries. Yeah. So as the seasons change, so does what we offer. We do peach cobbler in August when the local peaches are in.
Ooh, that sounds so good.
Yeah.
Right now.
And then at Christmas we do Christmas trees, and we do cinnamon rolls. We do cinnamon rolls all year long.
Yeah. But you got great cinnamon rolls. I've had them.
So we change it up as the seasons change.
Yeah.
So.
And I know in the summer you get, and I have to be honest, I bought some of her flowers.
If she's going to be honest, she's going to tell you that she showed up at the wrong time, and she helped me unload an entire trailer because she felt bad for me.
Well, but I was like loving it because all those flowers, I bought those flowers, and they are the best ones I have ever gotten.
Oh, thank you.
And they stayed beautiful all summer. So I'm going to try. I didn't make it over here this summer, but I'm going to try to come back this summer and get my flowers from Angie because they really did make a beautiful display all summer.
Yeah, this will be our third year here, but it's also, we've been doing this for 14 years on the property. The first year it was me, and then we rented it out for 10 years because it was too much. But we've gotten to some great places. We go to family farms, we go to 2 different auctions in Lancaster County, so you've got, they have just gotten smarter with their growing, with what they put together in planters.
Right.
So, and they know what works in this climate, so they've definitely managed to get things where they need to be to get them to last. So,
but don't feel bad about that. We had fun. It was actually the whole family.
It was called slave labor.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know. Angie was busy. We just started unloading the truck, but
I did feel bad. That was a bad day.
Now I know you can go to a lot of chain stores, like grocery stores, whatever, and probably get a lot of what you have. But what makes your market different from the chain stores?
There's a lot of things, but we have a model of our business is like a Vermont country store. We go to Vermont a couple times a year, and what they have up there, well, first of all, if you look it up, there's less than 10 Walmarts in the entire state of Vermont.
Wow.
Now, I don't have an issue with Walmart, but I do love, when you go into Walmart, they don't know your name. Right. In most grocery stores, they don't know your name.
Right.
In the little general stores in Vermont, they have basically the bare necessities of what you need. And normally when you walk in the door, they know your name, or, they don't know our names because we're just cruising in. But you can tell the locals come there. They come there to find out what's happening. They come in, and the person behind the counter knows their name. There's a community there. There's a connection. There is just a feling of belonging.
Yeah.
And so it's actually kind of funny. My husband is 4th generation to live here.
In this house?
In this house.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yep. So in next door here where we live, there's a Sunoco. We're right at the intersection of 401 and 100. And so where the Sunoco is, my husband's aunt's family, so this would be 2 generations back, had a little general store there, and it was called the Ludwig's Corner Tea Room. Or tea house, actually. And they sold everything from kerosene to cookies. I have books from back in the day where they wrote out what they were having, and they had balances of what people were buying, and they had accounts for people. So I don't know if they were trading eggs or if they were buying. I don't know what they were doing.
That's really cool.
It's really cool.
If you're a history buff, you would probably love
it. So I have pictures, and I did post some stuff on our Facebook page like a long time ago. Actually, it was just this past summer. because the locals around here love that stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's really cool. But people came there to find out what was going on before there was Facebook, before there was
Right.
TV and technology, and it was the local newspaper. People stopped there to find out what was happening, and then they also Sundays they were closed, but they would still come. They would congregate there because people wanted to find out what was happening, and that's where you went when you had time to kill. And that's what I love. And people do that. There are a handful of people that will stop in on their way home from work just to stop in and say hi. Sometimes they don't even buy anything, which I'm perfectly fine with. There was one lady that stopped. She was just having a bad day. And I said, you know what? What's happening? And she told me what was going on. And I just said, well, I'm just so glad you stopped. And she goes, I'm embarrassed. I don't even need anything. And I said, no, that just filled me up. That's more than money in my cash register. That tells me that you know that I care about you.
Right.
So that's what makes us different.
That's what makes you different. Absolutely.
Makes us
It's a sense of community, and technology is great.
It is.
It is great, but I do think with Facebook I'm obviously trying to do a business from that.
Right.
But social media, you kind of do lose that one-on-one, face-to-face connection. And so having these produce places and local places like this in your community, it keeps that alive.
Right. Well, technology is awesome. We have several developments that just popped up in the local area, like within a 3-mile radius. And people would stop in here and they would start asking us questions about the community, the schools. After being here 4 generations, I grew up within 5 miles my entire life. I didn't go far.
Right.
But
well, that's okay.
But I'm glad. I love Pennsylvania. So,
yeah.
But the reality is, we know a lot about the area. So when people stop in, we're able to tell them.
Right.
And that's what a general store is supposed to do. It's supposed to be able to, help the community out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know you make some great things. But if you had to pick a couple of your favorite things to make, first of all, I don't know how you do it. Don't you get up and make everything fresh every morning?
I have a baker that comes in. She comes in twice a week. I bake. And then basically what I tell anybody when we hire them is I look at them and I say, listen, this is pretty casual, but you need to know that I'm going to ask you to do whatever I would do. If my stuff needs baked, you're going to bake it. If my garden needs weeded, you're going to weed it. And if you're going to be here, you're going to learn how to bake. And they learn how to bake. Yeah. So basically, we have a kitchen in the house here that is a commercial kitchen that's monitored by the Department of Ag. And then we have a kitchen out at the market, and that's health department. And so we have somebody come in and they will make up the dough, and then we will bake things out there. So we are constantly baking. There's always somebody in the kitchen, or a lot of doughs. Before we opened, I went to King Arthur and they showed you how to operate a business. And there are a lot of doughs that do better if you let them ferment in the fridge. I'm not talking, a week. But, some things do better if you let them slowly rise 2 or 3 days. Right. So if you can make the dough and know how to utilize it on day 2, day 3, yeah, sure, you're still making things fresh, but you're not having to do that back work. Right. And some things you can actually slow the rise down by putting it in the freezer. So on day 1 of making croissants, you do your turns and you get things ready to put it together, and it will actually, you put it in the freezer to retard the rise, and then the next day it takes way less time to get it going. So
so there's definitely an art to it.
And we're learning. We're really learning. We're not there yet. So
I have to tell you a story. When my daughter was young, I made cookies, chocolate chip cookies. Well, I have, I bought little plastic ones that you cut off and you put in the stove. So I'm going to be, make homemade chocolate chip cookies. I make these homemade chocolate chip cookies, and the kids start eating them, and they're going, Mom, what's wrong with these cookies? And I'm like,
it didn't fly?
I don't know. I guess the other ones tasted better. And I'm like, that's it. I'm not going to do it. The little ones that come in the plastic, I'll just...
Hey, well, you're not a baker, but you have so many other talents. So you don't
I definitely, I can read recipes and do pretty good, but it's just not... Now, my youngest is the baker in the family, so she makes all the baking. She loves to bake. So she can do that.
Yeah, I love to bake. And you asked what are my favorite things to make. If I had more time to master it, I would love to make pies. Right now we got our pies from an Amish bakery, and I don't have time to do that. But cinnamon rolls are definitely my favorite thing. We make cinnamon rolls and sticky buns, and then as the seasons change, we do different things. We do an awesome, and this comes out of, what do you call it?
Pinch?
Experimenting. No, experimenting. Like, so last year I was having spaghetti for dinner, and I was like, oh, we need to make like a garlic roll. So I didn't put cinnamon in it, but lined it with butter and garlic and cheese and rolled it up. It was amazing. And so that became something we made on a regular basis.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I guess like a lot of people's recipes come from just people experimenting.
Yeah. So cinnamon rolls you can do so much with. Like right now I've got, I made some bacon. I'm getting ready to roll some dough here. Bacon with maple syrup and brown sugar, and roll it up in like a cinnamon roll, and
oh, that sounds really good. But
ham and cheese, Gruyere. I mean, you can do so much, and it's not just cinnamon rolls. It's you can do whatever you want. Yeah, and that's the artistic part of it that I like. So
yeah. Now I know that you let people. The way you let people know what's going on is you do Facebook Live when you have the business going. How many times a week? A couple times a week? You do
I try to do it, every day or every other day, because along with the seasonal, we change. We make different soups, and people will actually stop in on their way home from work. There are people who, just like you, do not like to bake and do not like to cook, but you've got kids, you've got a husband, you've got family. You have to do something. Yeah. And eating out every night is not only bad for your wallet, it's bad for your sodium intake. I mean, so we call our little slogan is getting back to basics. We make things in our market like I would make at home. We try to use, as whole foods as we can. So our flour's non-GMO. When we do soups, we're using we're using the vegetables that are fresh locally. It's not like we're pulling out frozen stuff that we bought,
Well, I know I've seen, I know that you do a lot of gluten-free, a lot of organic, because I know that's a big deal now is to do the organic. We went to a market yesterday that has a lot of, we try to eat very healthy, and so to me, that's important, and I know you guys do that. So when you come in and buy the food, you're going to get good quality ingredients, and if you need gluten-free and that kind of thing, you do offer all of that.
We do, but because gluten-free and paleo items, they are best if they're eaten fresh. We try to get people to order those. Yeah. Or like when we make paleo bread, we'll get a certain number of orders, and then we'll make a couple extra and throw them in the freezer. They're great when they're taken out of the freezer as well, but you've got to eat them right away. Yeah. But the Facebook Live videos, we do those, and also we do like a monthly newsletter. So if you want to get on our newsletter, you can just go on grandmazooks.com. We have a website there where you can sign up for our newsletter. You can also, we blog some things. I just started doing that. I'm not very tech savvy, so don't have high expectations. But you can actually shop on there. You can't shop right now because we're closed until April 2nd. But if you get on there, you'll see what the things that we offer. We do sell a lot of things. You can place an order, pay for the order, and you can have it weekly. You can have it recurring. And so, like I said, there's a lot of things that are on there, but then there's so much more in the market, so that when you come in to pick up your items that you have, ordered, then you can pick up your extras as well. So yeah, the Facebook Live, the monthly newsletter, word of mouth is huge.
Word of mouth is really big.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how many people come in. They're like, Facebook's been huge. Facebook Live videos, and then people are like, I see your stuff everywhere. I was at a parent-teacher meeting, and they had all this stuff, and I was like, hey, calm down. There's enough for you. It's okay.
That's great, though. But anyway, well, I'm glad you guys joined us for our first session with Angie. And I think our next session is when you're going to roll out some dough.
Yeah, roll out some dough.
I'm very interested in seeing this because I am such not a baker.
Hey, well, I'll even make you something to take home.
That sounds good. My husband did put that out there. Bring me some cinnamon rolls.
Deal.
So, well, thank you, Angie, for this first session. And guys, stay tuned. This is our Monday session. Stay tuned for Wednesday, and we will see how to roll out some dough. Take care. Bye. See?